So a very warm welcome. Thank you for those coming live and those of you that are watching on the replay. This is going to be kind of short and sharp webinar today, half an hour. It's going to be some of the highlights from the event I hosted 2 weeks ago with Wunderkind, Red Ant and StoryStream. They are experts on some of the themes that I've been talking about over the last year. So I was delighted to work with them on that event and also share some of their insights and some successes from their clients as well. So I'll be going into more detail about 3 of the themes from the panel events that we talked about that was live and in person. So a little bit about me, some very familiar faces here, which is fantastic, but also some new people I saw signing up. So a bit about me. My name's Wiz. I'm the founder of WIZZ&CO, a brand and retail strategy agency. I've spent 18 years in the industry. My first 12 years were at Selfridges within buying across multiple categories from fashion, accessories, and then latterly was head of beauty buying. After that, I was director at Soho House for their retail brands, so Cowshed and Soho Home. And then I've done projects working with big retailers such as Ocado and Next, big brands such as Dermalogica, Unilever, and I also work with business leaders within fast growth retail brands and also big brand founders as well. So I help people navigate the fast changing world of retail, help them scale and stand out for more customer engagement and ultimately sales. So today I'm going to be talking about how you can create more customer engagement to increase profitability in the digital and physical retail. So 3 of the themes I'll be talking about is how to get closer to your customers to increase conversion, how you can leverage your community and some of your raving fans to convert more sales, and the return of physical shopping and how digital can create a seamless customer experience. So a big theme I've been seeing is how do you get closer to customers to increase conversion? I think we have been going through an enormous amount of change with post-pandemic, people reintegrating into everyday life, back to normal, and also cost of living crisis as well. What we're really seeing, and some of the themes I'm having a lot of conversations with clients and kind of people that I'm meeting in the industry, is we're really seeing the marketing mix change quite rapidly. So I think it's really about reviewing your marketing mix on a more regular basis because it's becoming more complex. There's becoming more touch points and it's also can be harder to track as well. I think many businesses enjoyed the digital boom where you could track things and obviously a lot of the digital world does have a ROI on it. But also I'm very passionate about thinking about the customer journey more holistically as well, because just because somebody converts through a digital channel and you might see kind of an ROI or ROAS on that it doesn't mean that's the first time they've necessarily seen your brand. Building a brand or a business, people need to see your product multiple times before they look into researching or finding out more about your brand or potentially purchasing. So some of the biggest challenges that I see in retail at the moment is we've seen an increase in advertising costs. That customer acquisition price has really gone through the roof, so that can certainly be challenging. Customers are now being able to opt out of tracking as well. I know how frustrating I think we all know how frustrating it is. We get on a website and we've got to close a million pop-up boxes or accept cookies or slide things across yes and no. So yeah, these things that are there to obviously protect consumers are also providing a bit of a barrier as well to be able to track and trace and give more targeted insights. Also seeing a drop in engagement on digital as consumers are overwhelmed with information. There is so much going on out there, everything from people getting back to everyday lives to being back in offices to digital fatigue with platforms like TikTok that are just almost training us to have a really short attention span. So we feel like we're doing multiple things at once, which can be feel very chaotic, arising obviously mental health challenges as well. So there's a lot of different elements that is really creating havoc with our attention span. So as a result, this is having a direct impact on getting cut through with marketing and obviously converting to more sales as well. So some of the things I'm advising a lot of people to do on what to address is how can you get more customers onto your own channels? So that very quick customer acquisition, like I said, is a real challenge from the digital marketing side of things. But if you can convert people to your own email lists, it's a really powerful way to be able to convert more people to sales. And I've seen a lot of great businesses have success on this. And it's not necessarily just with email lists, it's also developing a text message strategy as well through SMS. Again, people have more emails than ever. People are being more considered if they are signing up for emails. So if they are signing up, it's really important that you're creating value with them. What is the content that you're providing with them? How can you send more personalized messages as well? So really starting to segment your audience is a great way to be able to do this, because as you build up that email list, some people might want to hear from you all the time, but actually having too many emails can be a detriment as well. So starting to really analyze the performance of your email marketing and segmenting these to different customer bases is really powerful. Touching on SMS as well, I think this is a really interesting one, because if we're willing to give our phone number and sign up to SMS messages to a business, to a brand or a retailer, then that customer is really, really invested in your business. And it's super powerful. We all know, we all open all of our text messages and our WhatsApps because it's generally from our friends. So if we have a feeling that we're getting that close to a customer, then it's a really powerful way to convert things to more sales. And we see this through kind of automated SMS strategies, to people doing this through personal shopping as well. So getting close to your customer, and if they're willing to give you their number for text message, then it's a really powerful way to keep in communication with them. And ultimately, this is about building more loyalty, building more lifetime value. And once you've got those people onto your email list, or potentially onto SMS, you can really start to see a direct correlation with increasing revenue as well. So a key objective should be really thinking about how do you get more people onto that list. If you have stores as well as digital channels, it's really thinking about how can you incentivize those members of staff to be able to signing up, making sure that team are on board with converting people. What is your hook to get people to sign up to your email address if they're on your website? Providing really valuable content, potentially ebooks, potentially education, as well as discounting. I see a lot of people just doing discounting, and again, that can be quite challenging. People don't necessarily want to pop up in their face straight away. They want something that's kind of a bit more considered and maybe will come later for a discount to sign up. But actually, if they're going to give away their email address, again, they want it to be rewarded with it with valuable content. So a couple of themes to think about there as we're seeing that marketing mix change. Another key theme, which kind of really leads on as well from, I suppose, capturing email addresses in store, is that how you create a true omni-channel experience. I mean, we're seeing a huge return of physical shopping, and I believe that digital can really create a more seamless customer experience. And it's how we integrate that. And this isn't about having an iPad in a store that runs out of charge and a customer has to use themselves, because ultimately we've all got a device in our pocket and we can all do that on our own device while we're in store. But this also provides challenges as well. There's a lot happening in physical retail that can be difficult for customers and brands and retailers to create that connection. I see not enough retailers are giving a different experience to other retailers. And that can be everything from the product to the brand mix to the customer experience and events that are happening. So what are you giving somebody that's coming into a store that cannot be purchased online? Because we can all do everything at the touch of a button now. Another big challenge is the customer is the expert. People are researching things kind of 7, 10, 15 times sometimes before they go into store. So much research has been done on before the purchase. It's very hard for the staff to be experts, particularly if they're covering multiple brands, multiple products. I do feel quite sorry for them, particularly if that customer's gone in and maybe has gone down a rabbit hole of researching multiple different brands and knows everything about that product in some instances. So then actually, how is it possible for that member of staff to be able to have all of that information at their fingertips? So actually being able to upskill the people in store is really powerful. So everything from staff training to giving people digital tools in store to be able to clientele and service those customers when they do come in. We're also seeing a huge amount of staffing challenges, from budget cuts, from staffing cuts in store. It's increasingly hard to recruit, and often then things like investment in training can be cut as people are looking at different budgets and cost-cutting exercises. So having worked at Selfridges for so many years, the store experience is completely ingrained in me, and I think there's a really huge opportunity to integrate some of these digital solutions to better serve these customers in store. Give the members of staff the tools, because that's what they need to have things at a touch of a button to be able to help, and not getting the customers to do the tech in store for them. Customers are craving that human interaction, and they're going into store for a reason: to touch, to feel, to try on, to engage with a human being, to get advice. So some of the things that you can be doing and thinking about to address this is, how do you create experiences to surprise and engage customers that build loyalty and social sharing opportunities as well? Everything from events in store to amazing shop fits to cool branding to selfie opportunities where people could be sharing things on social media. Investing in staff training and giving the members of staff better tools to serve customers in that direct moment. How can you also allow them to access information that delivers a personalized experience and allows them to demonstrate that they really know the customer as well? So can all the members of staff have iPads or devices themselves? It's very easy for them all to have an iPhone, which has got the history about the customer, what they've bought previously, what they've bought online, what they've bought in store, how did they get on with those previous products they bought? Is there any extra data or information on, for example, if it's beauty on the ingredients, or if it's fashion, the supply chain, that could be all integrated and delivered into that kind of one touch of a button customer information. Again, if customers are providing you as a brand or retailer with their personal information, it's being able to use it on a personalized level, because ultimately this will make the customer feel special, they'll make them feel understood, and will build that trust that will help build the sales and conversion. So again, using that technology to support the staff in store and not replace them, so that the staff that are there are able to spend more time with the customers and offer an elevated experience that result in increased sales and loyalty. I think a great example of this, again, is Charlotte Tilbury. I've talked about case studies about her a lot, and I've got a short video. If anyone has missed me talk about that before on YouTube, I can send you afterwards. But Charlotte Tilbury, one of the successes of how she built her brand was her expertise and her profile. But actually, how does this filter down to the rest of the business? How does that filter down to a counter of somebody in store? She was very focused on makeup artistry, so she had a huge training program that was very well developed to really upskill the members of staff that worked for her. So she also now gives the staff the right tools to be able to clientele as well. So they have solutions where they can see that purchase history, they can see what that customer has bought online, they can see what they've bought in store, so they know what's working for them or what potentially they might want to be trying again. Although Charlotte used a lot of huge retailers such as Selfridges, when we launched her exclusively to create her, I suppose, big impact, to create that big moment of launch and very quickly to scale her business through retailers. She always positioned herself as a digital first brand. And she leveraged those retailers, but also invested in the staff and technology to be able to support that customer experience. And is probably why she was one of the fastest growing makeup brands out there when she launched in 2013. So physical retail is still hugely important, and in many categories it outweighs digital sales. It's almost always over 50%, and certainly in categories like beauty, it's kind of back up to 80%. Yet physical retail experience often falls to the bottom of the list because digital is growing so quickly. But actually there's a huge opportunity, I think, to integrate some digital solutions across the board, because that is what true omni-channel is. So the third thing I wanted to talk about was really how you leverage your community and create raving fans to convert more sales. So some of the fastest growing brands, a bit like Charlotte Tilbury, for example, have been founder-led. The reason for that is there's a face behind that brand. When you're selling products, it's how do you create an emotional connection? Why do people need to buy your brand or product? And ultimately, having a face behind the brand builds trust and it builds engagement. And often this is the biggest lever to building a very fast-growing, successful and profitable brand, is that trust and engagement. It's why I help a lot of people on their positioning, how they get more standout. A lot of brands are talking about kind of fact-based reasons of why they scale, of what they do. A sustainable, vegan, female-founded skincare brand, for example. Those are all fact-based, but actually how do you create that emotive connection, that hook for people to really be able to engage with you? So again, through description, through an elevator pitch, through your branding, and if you're a founder, very much through telling a brand story. You see a lot of the huge brands also working with ambassadors to be able to tell that story as well. It's why we saw a huge boom of influencers when social media launched, because there was a trust element. It wasn't just a brand saying this is the science and this is the best thing that you can buy based on all of these stats. But actually, we've all seen that influencers are now losing trust with customers, because customers can very clearly see that they'll jump between brands. They know they're getting paid for what they're promoting. They have to very clearly declare that it's an advert, which again is great for the customer experience. But then how do you grow if then we're losing trust with influencers as well? So one of the biggest trends I see is user-generated content. Because it's relatable. It's your best customers that can talk very naturally and organically about why they love your brand, your product, your store. It's very, very quick trust, because often it's being shared with their friends. So that network, although it may not be huge, can be very influential. It can often mean, with that marketing mix and kind of the multiple touch points people need to see before they purchase from a brand, that those kind of touch points of different, I suppose, marketing channels can often be reduced when it's somebody that you trust that's telling you. So that's why user-generated content is more powerful. Some insights from a Deloitte 2023 digital media trend report said that 48% of the Gen Z and millennial cohort surveyed spent more time interacting with their peers in social media than they did in the physical world. So that is huge, a huge amount. So actually being able to leverage and see what your friends are doing, what they're using, what they're talking about, what they enjoy, is really, really powerful. So it's really about how can you get closer to those, to your best customers. Because we talk about a lot of brands and creating a community, but again, how do you capture those as well? And this isn't just brands doing this as well. There's great success with retailers doing this. John Lewis, for example, are doing this, where they can use a lot of their user-generated content and then share that across their social channels, which then have clickable links. So again, this is really, really powerful, because you might not know that person it might not be your friend that's sharing something or being reshared on the John Lewis social channels, but what you are seeing is an everyday person, potentially somebody that looks like you, somebody that is the same shape as you. I think super important for fashion, for example. A lot of fashion is shot on models that are of a certain size. Definitely size 8 and under. Not much of the population is that size. So actually, if you see a customer that's a similar size and shape to you, or similar height, you can very quickly see whether that item would suit you. So there's huge opportunities with user-generated content for reducing return rates, for example. People purchasing things that they are more likely to keep afterwards, maybe reducing how much they purchase, so there's less stock in the supply chain. So there's so many different benefits to user-generated content as well as it being relatable, because I think we all like to find things that are relatable to us. If things feel too aspirational, or well, that looks great on the model, but that wouldn't look great on me, or actually that person's skin color is very similar to mine that I've seen on with user-generated content, or they've got the same texture hair, for example. There's all of these different elements that user-generated content can really help. So it's a very powerful way, I believe, in the future to convert kind of more people to sales, and also doesn't have the sky-high price that a lot of powerful influencers now have, and celebrities. So those are the key things that I wanted to talk about today. If anybody has got any questions, I would love to hear in the chat, because I've left a little bit of time to be able to answer those. So these were some of the themes, like I said, that from the event that I hosted. And there's lots of elements from these that you can start doing yourself if you're a founder-led brand, and if you are a larger corporation, then there are technology solutions to support you on this. So three of the partners that I've worked with on this is Wonderkind, who is a leading performance marketing solution. They scale those one-to-one messages for top brands across websites, email, and text at scale. So they often rank as a top 3 revenue channel for the clients they work with. StoryStream offers AR-powered platform to manage and deliver highly engaging visual commerce through user-generated content, through creating experiences to track and monetize UGC, which is so important. And Red Ant is a market-leading clienteling platform that's connecting those store associates to customers. They're giving the power to the people in store. They're delivering data-driven omni-channel experiences for more engagement and revenue. So please pop in the chat if you've got anything that you would like to ask about these 3 themes, or happy for you to get in touch directly. If you'd like to kind of go through any of this information further with me, I'm happy to chat through with you. I help a lot of clients solve a number of these challenges that we've discussed, through coming to talk at events, through one-to-one strategy mentoring and group training as well. What do you think are good routes to encouraging customers to create UGC? Yes, great idea. So I think definitely post-purchase is, what is your post-purchase experience with those customers, is really powerful. So are you putting anything in with the delivery? Again, you don't want to have too many bits of paper or card, but again, you could also add things inside, printed inside the packaging of the box. I think this is really powerful, where I see e-commerce deliveries and there's a call to action inside the box. So you could certainly talk about sharing your experience, following on social media within that element. Again, through email, what's your email follow-up sequence like with your customers? How are you checking in with them about the purchase? Certainly one element of that post-purchase experience could be asking them to share on social media. You could also give them rewards in return for this. So is there a certain percentage of their next purchase? Is there a small gift they receive next time they purchase? So lots of different ways, certainly through digital. And then if that is through a in-person experience of purchasing, again, training those people in store to be able to say, we'd love to hear from you afterwards. Let us know. Contact me directly, or please share your pictures on social media. So again, just having that conversation with people can be really powerful. Brilliant. Yes, there will be a recording that's sent out. Hey Joe, great to see you. What sort of things do you think Brad? So I'll read these out loud because not everyone can always see them. What sort of things do you think brands can do to help grow or nurture their brand communities? Great question. I was talking about this actually with a client this week. So I think events, in-person events, are really, really powerful. I mean, I thank you all today for coming to an online webinar, but I do think there is some digital fatigue around webinars. Hence, for example, why I'm creating more in-person events to be able to connect with people. And I think whatever size of your business, it's about doing events in physical spaces. So if you are a brand stocked in a retailer, doing events with those retailers, doing it at a private dinner and getting your best customers in one place. If you're a retailer, again, doing something that's kind of multi-brand or something that you're leading yourself. So how are you gathering people together? How are you nurturing them? Certainly in the physical realm. Some brands, there's great success through Facebook communities, through certain kind of online chat and channels. And there are brands out there that are very successful at that. But if you're going to do that, you need to be very active in driving that as well. It does take a lot of work. Whereas I feel some kind of ad hoc events is something that is a bit easier to manage unless you're going to dedicate somebody who's there as kind of community management. But I do really feel that community management is really key, and that leads everything through from kind of that customer experience touch point to who's managing your messages on your social media channels, to who's returning the inquiries that you get through your emails. I mean, I terrible experience. I contacted a brand online, gosh, probably a month ago, and said, hey, asking them a question about their brand. I got an automatic response saying, we get lots of emails, so you might not hear back from us. Lo and behold, I've not heard back from them. Probably would have bought something from them if they'd replied. So again, community management is getting some of the basics right, but then also really leading up into what are those really more interactive experiences that you can provide. And again, this is where it's great to start segmenting your customers into different tiers as well, and focusing on those really powerful building more loyalty with those best customers, because that can really be more profitable. Amazing. So thank you, everyone. For once, I have finished on time. So thank you all for joining. There will be a recording afterwards. And like I said, please do get in touch if you have any questions about how I can help you with your business. If you would like any introductions to find out more about Wunderkind, Red Out or StoryStream, I'd be happy to introduce you. Or please feel free to contact them directly. They're super knowledgeable on experts in their space. So thank you all for joining, and I hope to see you all very soon at an in-person event. I'm speaking next week at Future, FUTR. So if anybody's attending there, let me know. We can say hello in person. And I will be announcing another in-person event for July, which is very exciting. So keep your eyes peeled on my email list, because it will be going out there first of all. Thank you. Speak soon.